Hi, you're with India Post Live, India's first online news conversation web TV. I'm Ishan Russell, and India Post Live is, of course, a conversation that you can participate in. Today, we are talking about the Election Commission. Yes, the elections have been on for some time now, a little tired maybe we are of this electoral game that has been going on for a month literally now. But what has been the performance of the Election Commission? Like, well, there have been many question marks today as far as hate speeches are concerned, because there have been a lot of controversies. And has the Election Commission acted strong enough on those controversies? Well, let's try to find out with this story.
After his famous hate speech in Western UP, BJP's Amit Shah is back on the campaign trail. But Samajwadi Party's Azam Khan has not been lucky enough. Both were handed a ban by the country's election watchdog a few days back. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee had also gone on a warpath with the commission when it refused to transfer officials as per their order, but relented later. Even though Election Commission has a formidable reputation for being tough on erring netas, the trend has been quite different this time around. So are our politicians taking the Election Commission seriously, or are they taking full advantage of its benevolence? These incidents are raising doubts over its reputation as that of a sharp watchdog.
All right, so what do you think about the Election Commission and its role in this election? Do you think it's done its job really well? I mean, it is a mammoth task to organize an election for 1 billion people, but can it come down hard enough on our netas? Are they really scared of the Election Commission? We'll try to figure that out in this show today. With me today are Asha Khosa. Of course, she's a senior journalist and a well-known columnist and has been here with us for some time now. And also from the Congress and the BJP, Shehzad Poonawalla and Vineet Goenka. Shehzad, of course, for the Congress, is a member of the Congress party and has been a supporter of them. And Vineet, and both of them are very good friends, but adversaries over here. Vineet, of course, is the co-convener of the IT cell of the BJP. Asha, I'll start with you, ladies first. So, Election Commission, has it been doing a good enough job as far as this election is concerned? And what about these hate speeches? It really hasn't been able to control that, has it?
Well, Election Commission has been doing a good job in the sense that they are able to organize elections in a relatively free and fair manner, in the sense that they have evolved a methodology in which you are given maximum security to the voters so that they can exercise their franchise without fear. That much environment they have been able to create, and also to some level they have been able to control the muscle and money power. Okay. As far as the voters' fears were concerned. But in a sense, I'm not sure whether they have been able to, ensure that good people are there, no laws are violated, and no, as you said, the hate speeches. I mean, that is the biggest threat people of India are facing right now, that if some people come and they intimidate people, they don't have to have guns to intimidate people. They can intimidate people with their speeches. I think that is the worst intimidation. They're sending signals, they are spreading hatred, which is quite open. And we have seen a couple of BJP people, VHP people, Praveen Togadia, for example. A lot of people have already come in the picture who are spreading hate messages. And Election Commission has been quite toothless in taking firm action against them. I mean, issuing them a notice and asking the governments to file an FIR against. These are all technical details, but essentially can Election Commission not come into the picture and see that these people are out of the race, they are not in the picture, they are not allowed to campaign, they are not allowed to disturb the situation.
So I just want to make that distinction for all our viewers. All the views expressed over here by our panelists are their own. India Post Live, of course, has its own views, but we won't be sharing those. We are here to facilitate a conversation. And also just the fact that as far as Praveen Togadia is concerned, Praveen Togadia is not a member of the BJP. Vineet, before you jump in on that, he is VHP and he's not officially campaigning for the BJP also. And that is another discussion we'll be having in a couple of hours. But Shehzad, I'll let you make your opening comments as far as the Election Commission's, I mean, they always say that the ruling party controls the Election Commission. There has been a whole host of controversies as far as appointment of election commissioners go, etc. So what do you make of the Election Commission?
I think it's very uninformed for anybody to say that the ruling party controls.
It's said.
No, it may be said, but the fact is that the Election Commission is a constitutional authority. Article 324 grants it constitutional status. So nobody on earth can control it. Then by that logic, we can control the Supreme Court also. That's not how it works. Secondly, ma'am is being very kind and generous to BJP when she says only a couple of them made hate speeches. Actually, there are many, many more. Praveen, let's leave out Mr. Togadia. He is a member of the VHP, which is not the same as BJP, although they are the same parivar. Let's talk about Ramesh Biduri, the candidate from South Delhi who says 30% Muslims are supporters of terrorists. Let's talk about V.K. Malhotra, who's the office bearer of the Delhi BJP, who says that Jamia and Batla House are hubs of terrorists. These are statements that have come directly from the office bearers of BJP, from the functionaries of BJP. Now, without getting it into a political frame of mind, because the country knows who indulges in this, and we also know about Mr. Modi's speeches when
But you keep writing to the election commission.
Exactly. No, I'm coming to that. Now, you saw that just after 2002 riots, Mr. Modi removed Gaurav Vikas Yatra, and in that Gaurav Yatra, he went around communalizing the entire situation. He used to call James Lingdo, the chief election commissioner, James Michael Lingdo, and he would make such provocative speeches to emphasize on the minority status of the election commissioner and try to say that he's working against the pride of Gujaratis. Now, the point is, what is the action that can be taken? Recently, the Supreme Court, there was a PIL filed in the Supreme Court on hate speeches that is being made, and the Election Commission should be given more power. Unfortunately, I feel that the Supreme Court said that the provisions are enough, and it has now directed the Law Commission to examine and to take views of stakeholders on whether Election Commission can have the power to de-recognize parties like the BJP, which indulge in this kind of hate speeches. The Election Commission, as of now, does not have the power to de-recognize or deregister any parties. As far as disqualification of individual candidates is concerned, that too is a very curbed power under the Representation of People's Act. Hence, it is very, very difficult for Election Commission to go beyond what is stated in the four walls of the law. But I think that the time has now come that Law Commission gets all the stakeholders and the action that can be taken on hate speeches after defining what a hate speech is in a proper context should be laid down so that the Election Commission can deal with these guys in a more stricter fashion.
All right, fair enough. That is a fair comment. You would agree at least with the end part of it that perhaps, Vineet, the Election Commission does need a few more powers to really, if you have to be the class monitor, then you have to be able to enforce the rules, don't you?
Let me just wish all of you very good afternoon and Ms. Special. Ishan, probably the last 64 years, what we have been seeing, Election Commission has been doing fairly good job. Okay, I'm really happy with it. Now, time again, we'll have to empower them with powers which will curb this kind of nonsense which is going on. It is the duty of the executives to enact laws and help them out to do that. So probably this has not been done by all these years. When we come in power, we'll make better laws for them. We will reconsider their recommendations and we'll incorporate that. To answer the earlier pointers by the co-panelists of mine, let me tell you there have been incidences by various parties and various individuals. I don't think that any party or any individual speaks with an intention of hate. If they speak with an intention of hate, I'm sure that EC takes cognizance of that. And there have been incidences where they have taken cognizance of that. So I don't have anything feeling that there is a toothless EC. I probably believe that they are very vibrant. They have been very responsible all these days.
I just want to come in here. I am glad that the Bharatiya Janata Party people always say that when they come to power, they forget that they were in power for 6 very long years, and they had even formed a committee to suggest amendments in the constitution. So they went to that extent, but they never thought about bringing any reforms to the Election Commission's powers. The reason why this has to be done with consensus from all parties is because this is an all-party issue. It is an issue that affects every political party. Now, one more important aspect that needs to be seen is that how exactly is the hate speech is going to be defined. See, individual comments. Now, I'll tell you what has happened. Imran Masood made a particular comment about Mr. Modi. Rightly, it was made 6-7 months ago while he was in the Samajwadi Party. Very prompt action was taken by the state government, which registered an FIR, and he was arrested, sent to judicial custody for 14 days, which we welcome. Now, the same thing Amit Shah has made the same kind of a speech. You've had Azam Khan make these speeches. The action is being left to the state government, and they are not taking action against Amit Shah because they are handing gloves with him. They are not taking action against Azam Khan because it's one of their own. So you see, when you leave it to somebody like a state government, which is a political authority, they don't take action. They take it only when it's convenient against our candidate. They don't take it against all in equal measure. And therefore, Amit Shah was roaming around freely, and even this one was roaming around freely. So that's why you want Election Commission to have the powers that they themselves can disqualify, ban, and take other actions that are necessary against these candidates.
I'm sure you'd agree on this one, Vineet.
No, I partly agree. Sajaji has been always very learned and he does his homework well, I think. But then this time I have to tell you that the government in UP is a government which is supporting their own party. Okay, when Beni Prasad ji makes some statement, then it's okay. When their own Ajit Pawar, their alliance partner Ajit Pawar says that he will not give water to the villagers, it is okay. When their own alliance partner Samajwadi Party's leader Azam Khan ji makes some statement, it is all okay. We make a statement with a good intention, good direction, which later on EC recognizes and says that okay, it has been considered and you go ahead and the ban has been lifted. That is incorrect. So Sajad bhai, you'll have to understand one thing. What Amit ji said was in the context that if somebody has not done your work, take a range by not voting him. And that particular part was brought in front of the EC and which EC has considered it. So we'll think that the issue is closed once the EC says that okay, Election Commission mentioned that the issue has been closed. We'll have to answer what Ajit Pawar ji did few days back in Maharashtra, who is a responsible leader of your alliance partner. Beni Prasad Verma ji is a responsible Congress leader. We'll have to answer about them.
I'll just quickly, I'm so sorry. I'll just quickly say one thing, that I raised the issue of Azam Khan. My party itself had publicly condemned Azam Khan, and we had demanded that there should be parity of action between Azam Khan, Amit Shah and Imran Masood, first of all. Secondly, when he says that about Ajit Pawar or about XYZ, that is why we are saying that the moment you leave these things to the discretion of a police force, which is by and large, and I'm speaking this on my individual right, when you leave it to a force which has the discretion which is exercised under political kind of this autonomy, therefore you will have situations where the action won't come about in a fair, even if it is fair and transparent action, it won't be seen to be as such. So therefore let Election Commission have the power, and Election Commission should be given the teeth to even take action. And let me remind him just one point, that Amit Shah's ban was not lifted because they found nothing bad about his speech, but they left him with a very stern warning saying that we are monitoring all of your speeches. We don't want to curb your freedom because we don't have the power to do that, but we are monitoring your speeches. And they definitely did not. That's why Amit Shah had to say sorry. It's not that they felt Amit Shah was within his rights to
No,
make
but
that.
is a sorry good enough? Is a sorry
Exactly
good
my
enough? I'm
point.
sorry. Because
Election
for
Commission
me,
can't do anything else but take a sorry card. That's
okay,
the problem.
go ahead, Vineet.
Sajaji, see, we all being a responsible political people, we all feel that the institutions within the democracy should be strengthened. If you ask individually, I know that every party which believes in democracy believes that the institutions should be strengthened. Who is going to do it? Nobody from outside will come out. You and I both have to come together to make this institution a better place to be there. We will have to, in the last 10 years, the institutions have lost their teeth. They have lost the sharpness. We will have to bring that back. It is nobody else who can do it. We will have to come together, share our differences, and say that yes, what all can be done, be it be the judiciary, be it be the election commission, or be it be the administration. We'll have to strengthen them, and we'll have to make sure that in the future, the generations to come, our children who will come back in future, will have to be protected by these institutions. I think that it is our own duty, and they have been doing it. Probably we'll have to
But
come
Vineet, hang on. I'm not convinced, because my idea is that as long as it's convenient for somebody, I mean, a weak election commission means that if polarization is benefiting party A or party B, then fine. If it's not, then you might create a hue and cry about arming the election commission with whatever. But it'll always be politically convenient, isn't it, to hear his master's voice, the political master, rather than the constitutional authority.
Sanjeev is saying that,
Vineet.
I'm sorry. Vineet is saying that we should take steps. It's in the interest of political parties to cooperate cooperate with Election Commission to clear the system. But I have a question to you, Vineet. Last elections, I remember one of your very prominent BJP candidates, Varun Gandhi, made a hate speech in Pilibhit. After that, Election Commission gave a stern warning, and they made a recommendation, which is something more than censuring. They censured Varun Gandhi, and then they said that this political party should withdraw his candidature. It was a very clear recommendation. So when you are wanting to reform the system, BJP had the opportunity to rectify itself. Maybe you would have lost one seat, perhaps. That would have cleared the system. That you would have shown to the country we believed in in giving more teeth to Election Commission. You chose not to withdraw him. So when you are saying that, you know, all of us have the duty to clean our system, I am really not convinced. We are all political parties are opportunists when it comes to, you know, furthering their interest in the election. BJP is similar to Congress, and probably Congress is similar to BJP in these ways.
But I am going to quote you January 2014 Hindu report. The Hindu report is about the Law Commission. When this government came to power, it had several rounds of discussions on electoral reforms. I think 8 or 9, if I'm not mistaken. And the Law Commission itself in May 2013 floated a consultation paper sending 30 to 35 queries. I'm quoting from the Hindu, from the Business Standard and from Hindu. Ajit Prakash Shah, who is the chairman of the retired Justice Ajit Prakash Shah, chairman, he says, and ma'am can see it here, that the only major political party which responded to the consultation paper was the Congress party. So it was only the Congress party responded to the Election Commission's entire thing of having reforms, which included various aspects, including state funding, including aspects on hate speech and various other aspects. So why didn't the BJP respond if there's
well, to be very honest, I mean, as a reporter, we have been covering this all-party consultations which were being held on bringing in political reforms. Most of the political parties, I remember, are opposed to giving more powers to Election Commission. They don't want a fully autonomous Election Commission. The logic they are giving is that elected legislators, legislatures and parliament, they are superior to everything, and only parliament and legislature has the powers to, ban people. They don't want to give more teeth.
All right,
including
but you
Congress.
made a couple of allegations against Vineet also. I want to
see,
bring in.
I'm quoting the statement of the chairman of the Law Commission, who says that the only party that
They
responded was
but
Congress
not,
party.
not to the specific.
Ma'am,
But then
you
That's
can't.
what I'm saying.
You have to.
Shehzad, you had the government for 10 years. If some reform had to happen, it should have happened.
tell
10
me-
years is a long, it's a decade.
So I
And
tell
actually, it's when Congress are in
you
power.
have to be fair.
All
to
right,
me.
but
You have
let's
to be fair to
not-
me. How does we as a major political party, ruling party, respond to the Election Commission and Law Commission's queries? We try to build consensus with other parties. Other parties.
Oh, let
even
other parties
opposition
respond.
parties
Vineet
does not
respond.
say,
Vineet
What
respond.
do we do?
Sir, can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. See, let me respond it one by one. My co-panelist Ashajit talked about the incidents at Pilibhit in the last election. I would like to remind her that she should go through the cases before she speaks, because the case has acquitted Varunji in that. There has been judgment by that. Now, if she feels that she has a better knowledge of the case than the court, then I don't know, because I don't want to speak beyond what court has been saying. The court has already exonerated him. It has been done. So now what do we do once the court says? So what happens, once the court states that he's been exonerated, he's been acquitted in that particular case, then I don't want to think that there is any
That
case.
came much later, no? That came much
And
later.
it's a trial court. It's still pending in
Yeah,
High Court.
yeah.
And there was an expose on the link between
I
Samajwadi
I
Party
allow
people.
both of you to
allow
speak when
him
you
to.
speak. I don't speak in between.
All right, go ahead.
No, just correcting you factually, but.
Correct. Sajadji, I know the understanding which you have with the co-panelists, but let me tell you that.
The co-panelists.
Sorry.
No, I would
I'm a
defend
journalist,
Ashaji
I'm
over
a
here.
neutral
Ashaji is
person.
completely neutral, and as a journalist, I really
You are
respect
seeing
her.
a
and
conspiracy
admire her.
everywhere, sir.
All right. Go ahead, Vineet, but go ahead, make your point.
So Varunji has been acquitted, and I probably believe that he will have to respect what court said. Now let me take your attention back to who has undermined this kind of institutions. So if you see in the last whatever decades of independence, we have seen 1975, 1976 and 1977, the emergency, where the Congress party, one of the senior leaders of them, most respected in their party, Indira ji disrespected the institutions of democracy, be it be judiciary or be it be any other things. So why do I have to refer to that? That was the most black chapter in Indian democracy when she implemented emergency and put all the political opponents in the jail. So probably they will have to answer this. Who has divided the power of election commission? They will have to answer it. They were in power most of the decades. What have they done? Probably my friend from Congress has to answer all this kind of thing.
Answer?
See, first of all, I'm glad.
Let me complete. Sajjan bhai, I'll just give me 30 more seconds. See, we will have to see that who is it accusing BJP's leader. That has to be seen. It will not help by just accusing us, because you accuse us, court acquits us. You accuse us, election commission rollbacks our decisions. You will have to probably investigate who wants to undermine them. You will have to, put ranks in the necks of this people called as Beni Prasad ji, Ajit Pawar ji. You will have to talk to Azam Khan ji. They are all either Congress people or Congress allies. If you see, Bharatiya Janata Party has been very responsible all these decades, and I can also assure you that we have been very, very careful. Why don't you just see the tweet which Narendra Modi ji today morning has done? And he has been clearly stated in that tweet, I disapprove any such irresponsible statement and appeal to those making them to kindly refrain from doing so. He has not talked to this only to our party people, but to the general public as a large also. So to summary out, Congress has to answer what they have done in all these decades, A. B, they have to answer why did they implement emergency and kill. C, what have they been doing all these years.
Okay. So now let's take your things one by one. First of all, I'm not in cohorts with the co-panelist who's very independent, but I'm glad you see conspiracies everywhere. Let me tell you that Varun Gandhi's word... No, now don't interrupt, Viniji. Now don't interrupt. Varun Gandhi's verdict of the trial court, a lower court, came much after he fought the election and won it. You could have taken action before that. Secondly, his entire clean chit is pending with the High Court, so it's not that he got a clean chit. Thirdly, there was an expose which showed how there was a system manipulation by the Samajwadi Party which had its entire system working to give a clean chit to Varun Gandhi for some political affiliations. That's been done by an independent media agency. Now let me come to the aspect of emergency. I'm glad you think that emergency is something a cross that we have to carry, but I want to remind you that Rajiv Gandhi or Sonia Gandhi weren't in politics during the emergency time. Sanjay Gandhi was, and behold, whose wife and children are in your party. So if you want to accuse us of the emergency by association with Indira Gandhi, you should look at your own house. Why did you take Varun Gandhi, who's making such fantastic statements? Now let's come to the issue. The issue is only this, that you keep telling us that we are the ones...
Come to you, Vineet.
Now, the issue today we are discussing about is hate speech. You are talking about Mr. Narendra Modi. Mr. Narendra Modi's own state of Gujarat, VHP's General Secretary made this statement in Gujarat. As a Chief Minister of Gujarat, what action has he taken when he keeps about saying that law and order in my state is number one? Here is somebody who's advocated racial segregation, which is equivalent to the kind that went on in Nazi Germany. You have not even arrested the guy. Take action.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sajjad bhai, when you talked about Varun ji, Sanjay ji and his mother, you'll have to understand one thing, and which you cannot shy away or you cannot do away with, is that Indira Gandhi ji and Sanjay Gandhi ji were responsible Congress leaders. Their acts cannot be put on Menaka ji or Varun ji, because...
But you can put them on Rajiv ji and Sonia ji who want to election.
He's not putting it on them, he's putting it on the Congress party.
I'm not putting up them also. Let me complete, then you will understand. In the hurry of rebating it, you are not listening to me. Will you allow me for 30 seconds, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I'm asking question about Congress party. What action did they take about this? Do they denounce it? Do they say sorry for what they did in emergency?
We did say sorry. We have said sorry. We have said sorry, and if you don't mind, I'll say sorry again. We are very sorry for emergency. Now you say sorry for Mr. Golwalkar, the Sar Sanchalak of RSS, who says that the Indian constitution should be done away with and we should be a Hindu Raj.
I think
we should be a Hindu Raj.
All right, look,
you say sorry for that. You say sorry for Golwalkar.
I think
I want to come
answer.
If you permit
go
me.
ahead.
No, I just want to tell you, emergency happened in
Asha ji, can you just give me 1 minute to answer him?
I'll just make one comment and then you can carry on.
Please.
Emergency happened in 1975. It's a long time now. And Congress party was very badly punished by people of this country for imposing emergency. And I'm sure Congress has learned lessons from that. You can go ahead.
Yeah, Sajjad bhai, the point which you made is that about the Chief Minister of Gujarat, the current Prime Minister candidate of Bharatiya Janata Party, and comparing him with the Nazis. Let me tell you, you have to be responsible when you make statements. He has proved himself in development. We are talking about development in Gujarat, and we will like to bring these elections back in development. And if you see Narendra Modi's statement today also, and he has made a tweet today that petty statesmen, both are claiming to be BJP well-wishers, are deviating the campaign. He has asked everybody to come back on the development politics. So rather than blaming BJP, rather than trying to find out this thing, you will have to see your own house, put that in place. We will have to all come together and put the institutions in their own places. Why has these institutions become toothless? We'll have to debate on that, discuss about that.
That is what we were trying to do, and if you can't let go of, I think both parties get stuck in the past.
I am asking Vineet ji, as a responsible office bearer of the BJP, that even today it's not late, respond to the 35 queries that have been sent by the Law Commission. Why doesn't he respond to them? It's a thing for the Election Commission reforms. Why doesn't his party respond? And my party has responded. It's on record.
I'm not aware of this particular case, so I don't want to comment on this. But what I can do is I can promise you one thing, that I can go back to my party, check what has happened, and comment.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We've absolutely run out of time on this one.
One last comment I must have. Their Chief Minister of Gujarat, after 2002, went around saying that the the relief camps in Gujarat were baby-making factories, and we all heard those speeches. Their main prime ministerial candidate is the chief architect of hate speech. No wonder they don't have the conviction to respond to Election Commission and Law Commission reform measures. And when we do it, and when we ask them to support us, they don't support, and they come on platforms like these and say that Congress is responsible.
All right, Vineet, I'll give you 20 seconds to make your closing remarks too, because it would be unfair otherwise. So go ahead and make your closing remarks as well.
See, what I would request Sajaji, being a very responsible person in Congress, and he's been very learned. So I like him because I love him. The reason because he's talking very sensible many times, and off the camera also we talk, and which is very good thing. I'll request him to use his good office. Let us all come together, make this country a better place to live. This country cannot become a better place to live without the institutions of democracy. That's my last comment.
All right, fair enough. So everybody at least agrees that the Election Commission should be given more powers. Who's willing to do that? Well, let's continue this conversation later over Twitter. You too can join in this conversation on Twitter, #IndiaPostLive to your tweets, or use our Twitter handle at IndiaPostLive.com or at IndiaPostLive, and also IndiaPostLive.com is of course the name of the website where you can go and log in and play. In fact, yes, you can log in and post comments, and also play this really cool game called the Vote Race. My producer will just put that up on your screen right now. But so the Vote Race is a game where you can be either Narendra Modi, Rahul Gandhi, or Arvind Kejriwal, and then you race each other to figure out how many votes that you can get. So I request Vineet and Shahzad to both play that game as well.
I just hope if I lose, I don't be sent to Pakistan.
We'll just continue this discussion, but on Twitter. And Vineet, we're waiting for your answer. Go back to your party and find out what happened to the recommendations of the Law Commission. All right, so we'll continue this chat over Twitter. Thanks very much, Ashaji, for coming in. Shahzad and Vineet, always a pleasure to have you on the show. All right, well, that's it.
The producer is not listening.
हाँ क्या करेगा